On set, good morning viewer. In this tutorial, I'm going to be doing some of the numbers that are being done in the currently, the current mock papers that learners are taking on. So the video is about, it's going to just be rotating around this cover photo I am opening, and the cover photo is about Wakissha subsidiary ICT paper 2 spreadsheet and database approach for August 2025. Now this paper was done yesterday, the paper 2 Wakissha subsidiary ICT, and I'm going to just select spreadsheet and database of that paper so that I can attempt them for whoever learner or tutor there. You could follow this in your lessons or in your practice, whatever you may use it for. So this is the cover photo that's going to be used on the video, and the papers, the soft copies I'm going to be using are right here. So before I open the soft copies, be mindful to know about some of the mock, the current mocks. I've already done some of the current mocks that learners are taking on in this month of August and the past month of July. So this is my channel. If I go at my channel here, the current video I have done, I did this 11 days ago. It's about a mock paper that was S4. S4 mocks item 1 in that practical paper that was done a few days ago. I've also done some resource questions like this one. It's also an S4 item 1 resource question. It is detailed and it is so important for learners to take on for practice purposes. Big thanks to every people who are trying to, provide feedback to me, trying to ask questions, and then, proposing what I may do, etc., etc. I read all that, and I'll try so hard to answer what you're trying to ask according to mocks, etc., etc. Now to the paper I'm going to be doing. This is the paper, and it was done yesterday, but I first selected database and spreadsheet questions there. So I'm going to be doing those two questions from this paper that was done yesterday on the 13th of August 2025. So this is the paper. It is Official Joint Mock Examination Subsidiary ICT Paper 2, July, August, and the numbers are right here. So we'll start with spreadsheet. The spreadsheet number is here. So this is the spreadsheet number I'm going to be starting with in this video tutorial. So I'm going to do spreadsheet first, and then I'll do database next. Yeah, so these are the support folders that were used in that paper. You're going to find them in the description of the video, of course, for practice purposes. So these are the support folders of the paper 2. If you find challenges getting them, you could inbox at my numbers that are at the channel. You could also get whatever support folders I have done in whatever question you may be doing. You can inbox the numbers at the channel, then you get the support folders for support and help plus practice purposes. Okay, now to the question of spreadsheet. This is it, spreadsheet. It was number 2 of that paper. The question was, load a suitable spreadsheet software and use the data provided in the support file Buyuchi. This data was collected from sales made by various street vendors on Ndaba Zabakade Street in Buyuki Town Council in the first 3 months of 2013. Now, according to the questionnaire, learners were required to open a spreadsheet software and then use the data provided in the file Buyuchi so that they can do whatever questions that were required. So the file we're going to be using is Buyuchi, and we're going to first see how it looks like before we load even the spreadsheet software. So which is here, mine is here, and if I open it, it is in word processor. It is a Word document, but they want me to load it to spreadsheet. So it's a table in Word, but I'm required to load it in spreadsheet. So it's what I'm going to do. I'm going to load this to my spreadsheet. Okay, so I'm going to use a folder. Of course, learners are always required to create a virtual container in exams. Of course, they put their full name. Moving Kasozi, maybe that is my personal number. So I can open it and then I can put a spreadsheet inside my folder. I can put a spreadsheet there before I even rename it, because according to the question, they're just telling me to load the suitable spreadsheet software. It's what I've just done, and use the data provided in the support file which the data was collected from sales made by various street vendors of Ndavaza Bakade Street in Boyuchi Town Council in the first 3 months of 2013. So I'm going to look for this file. I've already got it, and I want to take it to my spreadsheet. So I'm going to open the spreadsheet before I even rename it. I want to open it. I'm not renaming it because in the first question here, there's nothing like rename. I'm just loading a suitable spreadsheet and I'm putting the file which there. So this is the spreadsheet and I want to put the file which. So when I want to put the file which, I want to just right click at this, at the icon on the top left corner. I select copy and then I go to spreadsheet. I right click at this and paste. I paste in cell A1 so that my data can run from the very first cell of the sheet. Now I can just adjust on the size of the columns for just uniformity purposes. So this is my data. I've successfully loaded it into spreadsheet. Now I can close the word because I've already loaded the data, so that I remain with the spreadsheet and the image I am using for the question. Okay, so that is the spreadsheet I've loaded. I want to go back to the questions. Question A is add the following column titles: total in cell A1, average in cell F1, commission in cell B1, highest in cell H1, and lowest in cell I1. So I'm going to just load those labels in the various cells because it is what I'm required to do. I want to go back to my spreadsheet and then I load them. The first one is total. So I'm going to go to E1 because according to the question, total should be in cell E1. So I'm going to type total. Yeah, that is one. Then after total, we had average in F1. So I'm going to type average in F1. After average, in F1, I'm going to go to E1 and type commission. Okay. Then after commission in G1, I'm going to go to H1 and type highest. And lastly, in I1, I'm going to type lowest. Yeah, so those are the various labels that were required um, to be typed in those columns. So I've already typed them and I'm just adjusting on their width. So this is it. So at the next question, after typing all the cells, I'm going to continue to the next question, that is part B. Part B is calculate the total and average sales for each street vendor. So I'm going to calculate the total and average sales for each street vendor based on my Excel. Total is here. Of course, when I want to calculate total, I'm going to use equals sum open bracket from B2 to what? To D2. Close, hit enter, and drag to the very last individual. So I drag the last individual. So that is average. Next, that is total. Next is average. When I want to calculate average, I want to get the total over the number of items. I already have the total equals. I can type the function name average, because I've not been specified on whether to use a function or a formula. So I can use a function if I want, or if you want, you can use a formula. Equals average total is in E2 over number of items. Those are 3 months from January to March. Close, hit enter, and drag the rest to the last individual or vendor. So that was the question at part B. We're required to calculate the total and average sales for each street vendor. Then part C, use absolute cell referencing to calculate the commission based on total column using commission rate of 10% that is typed in B14. So they want us to calculate commission and they want us to use absolute cell referencing, and the commission is 10% of total. So what I want to do, I want to go back uh, to my spreadsheet. I want to go back to my spreadsheet and then I calculate the commission. So this is my spreadsheet and the commission is 10%. In B14 it is here and it's 10% of total. So I'm going to put a function equals B14. I'm putting B14 because B14 is having the 10% I need to use. And I'm going to lock it. I press function 4 and it's going to get locked times the total is in E2. I click here at E2, I press enter and I drag the last person. So I've used absolute and I have used the 10% at total. So of course this is indeed a 10% of 1M, this is a 10% of 1.6, etc, etc. So that is the commission at my spreadsheet. So that was part C. As I head to the next part, that is part part D. So part D is determine the highest sales for each street vendor in the appropriate column. So determine the highest is here. So if I want to determine the highest, I want to just use a function to determine the highest sales per vendor. This vendor is called Malo and I want to determine his highest. Of course, his highest is 670,000. That was in February. So if I want to determine his highest, I'm going to type a function equals max, open a bracket. After opening a bracket, I use a range. So Malo runs from B2 to what? D2. To D2. After that, you close, then you hit enter and get his highest. Of course, it's 670. Drag the last person so that all the highest values are returned. Next up is lowest. It was even the next question. Determine the lowest sales for each street vendor. So lowest is equals min, min, open brackets, the same range. It is B2 to D2, close, hit enter and get the lowest. Of course, it's 550 for Malo, etc, etc for the rest of the vendors. F. Sort the names of street vendors in ascending order. So sorting the names in ascending order, before we sort the names in ascending order, our spreadsheet should be uniform. It should have all borders. Because of course, if it's looking like this, it's looking, it is kind of funny. And when a learner is printing, the output may not be okay. So I'm going to highlight this and then I give it all borders from here. Under home, I select all borders so that my spreadsheet is kind of better. Now it's having a better look. So I'm getting to the question of sorting the names of street vendors in ascending order. So if I want to sort the names in ascending order, when you're sorting the names in ascending order, you should mind about the values of a person. At times when you sort in the wrong way, the values of a person may be directed to some other person, which could be wrong. So if you're sorting the names in ascending order for this case, this is what you do. Highlight the names from the first name to the last name, highlight, click at home, select sort and filter, then use a custom sort. Yeah, use a custom sort. After using a custom sort, you're going to go to uh, continue with the current selection and uh, click sort. After that, sort by, you want to sort by names, cell value, that is okay. So when you're sorting, you should mind about the values of a person. For example, I'm now sorting from A to Z, this order. So Adi could be the first person on top because Adi is having a letter A and a D. Maybe it could be followed by some other person with A like at watch. So be mindful about their values. They should be stuck to their name. So Adi is having 980, 850, 754. So those values should be stuck at Adi uh, after whatever sorting you may make. So I'm going to click OK, and then I'm going to look at Adi. So if I look at Adi, it seems Adi is not having the values that I want. So Adi has his values changed. So I'm going to redo this, Ctrl Z. Adi should have 980 and 850, 754. So I want to sort again. Go back to sort, custom sort, expand the selection, click sort. After expanding the selection, click sort by name, cell values, OK, A to Z, click OK, and RD is going to have his values stuck to him. So that is the right way of sorting. G. Change page orientation from portrait to landscape. So if I want to change the page orientation from portrait to landscape, I simply go to page layout and I look for orientation. I choose landscape. So that's what I do when I'm changing portrait to landscape. So if someone clicks here, you see it's landscape that is checked to show that I've already changed my sheet to display a landscape. H was create a column chart to show match sales for all vendors and set your chart on a separate sheet, new sheet. Label your chart appropriately. So they want me to create a chart and then I to show the match sales per vendor. And then I should take it to a new sheet and then I label it appropriately. So if I want to create a chart using match sales, I'm going to highlight the first column name because these are vendors. Then I hold Control, I point at match, hold left, highlight. Yeah, I'm highlighting the two because I need to use the two name and match according to the question. Go to insert, pick a chart, more so something like this, a 3D chart. Of course, if you pick this doesn't make sense because all bars are having that uniform look. That may not be okay. So pick a chart that's really displaying the series per vendor like this. So you could pick a chart like that, and according to the question here at H, they wanted me to take it to a new sheet and then I label it appropriately and I rename the sheet match sales. So this is it. I can first cut it, right click at it, select cut, and then create another sheet. Yeah, I can remove this sheet, match cells, and then I right click and paste my chart there. So this is my chart and I want to just label it appropriately. I want to put an appropriate title. The title could be a chart showing vendors, a chart showing vendors name and their match sales. The chart showing vendors name and their match sales. So that is the heading in the chart. I could click at the chart again. I go to chart design. You could have slightly different tabs because of the because of the software you may be using, but I'm sure if you click at your chart, then you click at either format or design, you could get the axis you may want. So I'm going to look for axis title, primary horizontal. Yeah, then primary horizontal, it's going to have these are vendors. So I type vendors. I go back to chart design, add chart element, vertical. Vertical is now, what's this? It's now sales. Yeah, so I have x-axis, I have y-axis, I have the title. I can go back to add chart, and then I put a legend on the right. It's about March sales. Okay, yeah. So that is my chart. I could just go back to add chart element. I can start to put grid lines, something that's like that. So that's a chart on a sheet, March sales. Next is create a line graph to show sales performance in 3 months on a new sheet named Mbabazi. Ensure to label your graph appropriately. So at the next question, I want me to create a line graph showing sales performance in all the 3 months. So I'm going to go back to my spreadsheet, and then I go back to the original sheet. I highlight from name up to the last month, March. I go to insert, I choose a line graph. I can choose a line graph. I could choose the first one, a 2D line graph. This is it, showing all the months and a vendor's name because it is what was required in the question. So I'm going to take this to different sheet simply because here they told me that on a new sheet named Imbabazi, I should take that line graph on a new sheet named Imbabazi and I ensure it is labeled appropriately. So I want to right click at it, I select cut, I create a new sheet, sheet 3, double tap here, and then I call it Imbabazi. Right click again and paste, so I can just shift my graph here. I do what I was doing with the other graph, give it an appropriate title. I can rename it a line graph showing a vendor's sales in three 3 months. Yeah, so that is my title. I can just maybe highlight it and give it something like that in color. So that's my title at my graph. I'm going to click at the graph again. I go back to chart design, choose chart element and axis title, primary horizontal. These ones are vendors because vendors names are appearing there. Go back to add chart element, axis title, vertical, and these ones are sales. Sales. Yeah, even the legend, chart title, legend, I put it on the right, etc, the 3 months are represented in that way. So that is a line graph. You can even go back here, you put uh, grid lines if they really bring out what you want. So that is it with a line graph that is showing all the 3 months and it was required at the part I. Next is part J. Part J was align column headings to 45 degrees in anti-clockwise direction and make their background color to yellow and blue font color. So I'm going to do that. That's part I. What I'm going to do at part I want to simply go to my original sheet. Yeah, this is my original sheet. And then I do whatever that I've read at part part, it's part J, not part I. It is part J here. So what I want to do is I want to first align it to 45 degrees to align my column headings. I want to highlight from name up to lowest. Yeah, right click at what I've highlighted and select format cells. After selecting that, I click at align, and then here I put 45 because they want me to align to 45. So I've already aligned to 45. I click OK, and my headings are now aligned. Though they now look funny and they're not even visible. Before I deal with that, let me first give them a background color of yellow. Background color is here. This one is the background color yellow. Then after giving it a background color yellow, there is a blue font color. Font color is here. I choose blue. I think this is blue. Yeah. So then I can go to the bottom of one and I slightly adjust that my headings are seen clearly. So I've slightly adjusted my headings and now they are seen clearly and the alignment is there and the two colors are there, font color and background color. Part K was assigning position to all vendors based on their average, whereby the one with the least sales in position 1. So they want us to assign positions based on the average, in that this vendor with the least sales is given position 1. So what we're going to do, we're going to click at the next column, and then we put a label position. Yeah, after putting the label position, we put a function that can return the positions based on the vendor's average. And this vendor with the lowest average should be number 1. I think this vendor is having the lowest average, this one here. Opio, I guess. Opio has the lowest average and he should be number 1. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click at this. Yeah, click at position and then type a function equals rank, open bracket. We are basing on what? We are basing on average, and our average is in F2. F2, comma, repeat the F2. After repeating the F2, you lock it. You press the function 4 key on the keyboard, and it's going to get locked. F2 to what? I think our average stops at F12 around here. F2 to F12. You also lock F12. So you type F12 and you press the function 4 key on the keyboard and it's going to get locked. Put a comma and put a 1. Why do you put a 1? Because in the question they told us this person with the least average should be number 1. That's why we're putting a 1, that this person, the least average, is number 1. If we were ranking the normal way, we were going to put a 0. Someone with the highest average should be number 1, but you're not ranking in that normal way. Hit enter and drag to the last person so that all positions are generated. So you see, it's this person here that's having number 1 because they are even having the lowest average. That's why they are number 1. Next was delete sheet 2 and sheet 3. Rename sheet 1 as my work. So delete sheet 2 and sheet 3. Sheet 2 was here, right click at it, delete. It's a sheet that had our graph. So the question wants us to delete that, right click at it, yeah, delete. Then even sheet 3, right click at it, select delete. Start to remain with the original sheet and then we rename it my work. Double tap at it and then type my work. Next is insert a header on all worksheets as your name and save your workbook as your full name. So we're going to insert a header on all our worksheets as my name. I think this one also needs all borders. Highlight all this and then give it all borders. Yeah, so sorry, insert your name as a header. So under insert, mine is under text header stroke footer. I can put my name as my header. So that is it. I've put my name as my header, and I should rename my workbook as my full name. So I've already put a name that could act as my header. So in most cases, when you put a header in spreadsheet, your your worksheet could be divided like how you see mine. But if it is divided, try to reduce on the size of the columns so that you push it to the first sheet on the screen. If it is divided, it could look kind of funny. So the try to squeeze the columns on the first sheet like what I've done here. So you try to squeeze them on the first sheet you are using. So I can close this and then I can now let me save. Yeah, I can now rename this as my full name. So I can right click at it and select rename and then I type my full name. Yeah, so that is it with my spreadsheet. The last question at spreadsheet was print a copy of your work. Yeah, print a copy of your work. So you just open the spreadsheet you are using. You're going to be assigned a printer at your school, at your room, in your office, wherever you are. So you command a print, Control P, and then select the right printer. Mine could be here, or you could select any right printer assigned to you. If you don't want to use the control P, you can click at file and then you select a print and select the right printer. For spreadsheet, instead of no scaling, you fit sheet on one page and then you command a print and your work is going to be printed out of the printer. So that is it with the spreadsheet question that appeared in that Wakissha paper, this paper here of 2025 that was done on the 13th of August 2025. So that is it with the spreadsheet question. Okay, to the last question that I'm doing, that is database that appeared in this same paper. The database question, like I said, that the video, let me first close spreadsheet. I click at save. I close this again. Then what else? I want to use this. I need it. Out of this, I close this. I close this. Okay. Now, like I said, that the video is about the two questions, that is spreadsheet and database. I've done spreadsheet already, and now I'm heading to the database approach of that paper 2 that was done yesterday. So this is it with database now. So database was here, and learners were told to do so. This is the simple scenario that was there. Your country is about to hold a national census, and Uganda Bureau of Statistics is looking for a good database administrator to manage population database. You have been contacted to design and test your database with the records extracted from the Commission's employee records. Seems with the scenario that in your country at the national census or and Uganda Bureau of Statistics, they're looking for someone who can manage a database. And if you can do that, you're going to follow those questions to do whatever they're going to assign you to do. So part A, load a database program and save it as population census. So it's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to load a database program. This is the folder I'm using. So I'm going to load it. Right click at the folder. I select access here. Sorry about this. Right click at this, select new, and then select Microsoft Access. Anyway, I could just give it a path at desktop, then I could open my folder I'm using. They wanted us to rename it as population census. Yeah, and it's at desktop, and in my folder I can now click at create, and the database can be opened as population census. So my folder has a database now that is called population census, because the first question they told us that we should load a database program and save it as population census. Part B, import the table in the support file called Uganda Bureau of Statistics and name it as BS table. So what they want us to do is they want us to import a table um, in the support files called Uganda Bureau of Statistics, and after we save our table as BS table. Let me first look at what they're talking about. It is Uganda Bureau of Statistics. This is the support folder I'm using. If I can open it, then I just have a look at Uganda Bureau of Statistics. Now, Uganda Bureau of Statistics is a file and it's a spreadsheet, and it's looking like that. It's what they want us to import in our database. And these are the steps of importing in Access. So I can close it. You can't import Excel and it's open. That is one. And you also can't import a file that has been zipped. So I can close it, and if your file is zipped, you can unzip it, and then you do the importing you may want. So I can go back to my database, and then I click at external data, and then I look for new data source. For other versions, for older versions, you can click at external data, and then you can click at Excel import there and then. But for new versions, external data, you click at from file, then Excel, because you're importing an Excel file. So it's going to push you there, and then even for old versions, you could click at external data, then you just click at Excel that is under the import group. It could also lead you there. So click at browse, and then you browse for the file you need under desktop. My support folders I'm using are here, and then I click at Uganda Bureau of Statistics, click open, and then you click OK. So my table is right there. I'm going to click at the first option of first row contains column headings, so that I can have my column headings on top from voter ID up to salary shillings. I click next, and then I click next. Here I choose my own primary key, because there is a field that can have a primary key, that is voter ID. So I click at choose my own primary key. I don't let Access choose for me a primary key. You can let Access choose for your primary key if in case your table has no field that can support, a primary key. But if you have a field that can support a primary key, you just choose your own primary key, and then you select it here. Mine is voter ID. Click next. Import to table. Here we are renaming our table according to the question. They want us to name it as BS table. Click finish, tick save imports, and tick save import. So I want to open my table and confirm whether that is the table that I really want. So this is my table that I want. That is my table that I really want. and I want to just continue to the next question. So I can close it. Yes, I want to save, and then I go to the next question. The next question is part C. Part C was create a simple form for the records shown in the table above. Name the form BS form. So I want to create a simple form. It's under create, then I go to form design, and then I click at add existing fields, show all tables, double tap at BS table, then double tap at each and every field that it falls into the design view of the form. Highlight all of them, and then uh, you move your fields to the middle screen so that you can have that, you know, nice look of the form. So I'm just creating a simple form, and then I'm going to rename it as BS form. Right click at your form again, select form header and footer, and have your headers and footers in the form. So I can just adjust this so that I can have a form header and footer. Pick a label. A label is here. How is a label important in a form? I can draw my label on top of my form, and then I type something like Uganda Bureau, Uganda Bureau of Statistics, BS form. Yeah, it could be a heading in my form. Highlight it, and then under home, you can give it. Let me first click here, highlight it again. Under home, you can give it a bigger size, that is 14. Yeah, you can put it in the center, a color, for attraction to make your form look better. Ah, that is it with my heading at the form. Yeah, a form can also have buttons under form design. I can pick a button. A button is around here. I can pick a button and I can draw it here at the bottom. This one can be for next record. Go to next, then text, next, and finish. And then there can be two. This one is the opposite of next. You can call this previous. Go to previous, next, text, next, finish. Yeah, previous. So those are my buttons at the form. etc form can have a lot of features. I can right click at this, I select fill color, and I give my form that color that could not cover the text. I can highlight both the buttons and I shift them slightly down and in the center there. Better. Still at the form, I can click at the header section and then I put a date uh, from here. Click OK so that the form can have a date. I can even draw something like a label again on top of a form here, and then I type, I can put my name, uh, maybe Kasozi 500. Yeah, a form can have a lot of parts, but for now we can go with this form. Yeah, I can save it, Ctrl S as BS form. Click OK, and then you open it here to see how it looks like. Yeah, my form looks like this, and if the buttons are hidden like mine, you could right click at the form, go back to design view, and try to, you can highlight the buttons and shift them slightly to the top, save, open the form, and then they're now visible in the normal view. This is my form and this is my date on the top of the form. Whatever I've done on the form is really visible, and indeed that is a form, and it's a simple one that was required at part C. So it's a simple form that is showing the records. If I click at next, you see the various records from the table. If I click at previous, you see the records using the form. I can close the form and then I go to the next part. Part B, use the form created to calculate pay as you earn, which is deducted from salary at a rate of 5%. Use the form footer and insert your name and personal number. Print the form and the table above. So how do I do that? I want to go back to my form. So this is my form and I want to calculate pay as you earn first. And they say that pay as you earn is deducted from salary at a rate of 5%. So I want to right click at my form here. I go to design view. Yeah, this time around I choose a text box. I draw it at the bottom of the form here. I don't interfere with my buttons. I draw it there. I can click at this and then I slightly increase its size. And then even here, I can slightly increase it up to here. I can reduce. Even here, I can slightly do this. You see, I'm just making sure that uh, the boxes are just in line for uniformity. And this is it here. Yeah. So under text 14, I type what I want to calculate. According to the question, I want to calculate pay as you earn. Right click at the second box having any bond, select properties, go to data and select the three dots you see. Equals 5 out of 100, because in the question they say that pay as you earn is 5% of salary. So equals 5 out of 100. Whenever we are calculating in a form, we start with an equal sign and then we put a 5 out of 100. We don't type the percentage. In most cases, when you type a percentage, you may not get the result you want. So equals 5 out of 100 and then times what? Times the salary. So where is the salary? The salary is around this database of ours called population census. Double tap and it's around our table. Double tap, then you tap at BS and you double tap at salary. If I was first there, you can rewind the video and see what I was talking about. So yeah, after putting the salary field, you could delete the table name. In a form, you delete a table name. So I want to delete a table name starting with the exclamation and the space. Click OK, and then you open your form and see whether the pay as you earn has been calculated. And indeed, it has been calculated and it's basing on salary. And 28,000 is 5% of 560,000. etc. etc. Next person, their pay as you earn is here. Next person, pay is here. Next person, pay is here. That is how it is done. Right click at the form, go back to design view, highlight pay as you earn, give it a bigger size, just creativity. Bigger size, you can give it a red color, you can bold it. In case you save, Control S, and then you open your form, pay as you earn is really out because you have used it to calculate. So the same question wanted us to print a form and the table above. So how do I do that? I want to open the table first. Double tap at the table. Let me first close everything. Double tap at the table. Yeah, open the table, and if I want to print it, Control P, or I can click at File and select Print. Control P, select the printer you are using, and then go to Properties, select Landscape. When you are printing database, landscape is better because we want our table to appear on only one page. You don't print a table on two different pages. So landscape, then you click at OK, and then you command a print OK, and your printer will print the table. Same applies to the form. Open it, Control P, properties, landscape, then OK, and then OK, you print the form. Chances are high when you're printing the form, you could have a lot of papers that could be output from the printer. Why? Because the form is going to have different people printed on different papers. At times it could be two people on one paper, or three people on one paper, or one person on one paper. But just mind about the printing I was talking about in the previous few seconds. That is it with part D. As we head to part E. So part E is create a report to show the net salary of the employees after a 5% pay as you earn deduction from salary. Use the report design to include your name and personal number in the header and name the report net pay. Now since I forgot something with my form, I didn't insert my name and personal number in the footer of my form. Seems I forgot that. So I want to first close everything and then I go back to the design view of the form, design view, and then in the footer section I can draw a label. I can draw a label there. Yeah. After drawing a label, I can type my name, Mark Marvin Kasozi. Then I can put my personal number. Yeah, so that is it with my footer in a form. Ctrl S, open the form and see whether the footer is now indicated in your form. So yeah, the footer has been indicated in my form. So close it and then I go back to the question of reports. So part E is create a report to show the net salary of employees after a 5% pay as you earn deduction from the salary. Now here the trick is this. They want us to do a report that can calculate a 5% payee. You get create a report to show the net salary of the employees after a 5% pay deduction from salary. Use the report design to include your name, personal number, and in the header, and name your report net pay. So I'm going to do a report that should first of all reflect a pay as you earn of 5%, and it should also reflect someone's net pay, that is salary minus pay as you earn. So before we do that, this is my take about that question. Now, you may find it hard to create a report there and then do pay in that same report, and then you do net salary in the same report. So this is my take. I can go to create and then I first design a query. Let me close this, double tap at this, double tap at each field. Yeah, then I can close this and then I can put pay as you earn pay. So I'm going to calculate pay first and then I calculate net pay next. Then I'll design my report from this query. So how do I calculate in a query? Pay as you earn, full colon, full stop and a full stop. Right click at this, select build. So pay as you earn is 5 out of 100 times what? Times salary. Salary I said is under population census. For computers with old versions, you may just see tables around. So you double tap at tables and look for what you want. For new versions, you first double tap at the database name and then double tap at tables, tap at the table, and then double tap at salary. So what we do in a query, we simply delete the space. Yeah, we don't delete a table name just like what we did in a form. We don't delete a table name and we don't put equals in a query, put full colons, the two full stops. Then just make sure you don't have a gap or a space after the timers or the asterisk and before the 5. So click OK and first run and see whether you're getting pay as you earn. Yeah, we are now getting pay as you earn. Not enough because in the question they want us to create a report to display net pay of employees after a 5% pay as you earn. So I also want to have net salary displayed. Yes, the pay as you earn has been calculated, but what of net salary? Because for someone's net salary, we're supposed to get their salary minus the pay as you earn, and then they get the net salary, after which we shall create our report. So I'm going to simply go back to the design view, right click at the query one, go to design view, then here at the next column you put net salary. Net salary, the two full stops, full columns, right click at this, select build, and then you will get our salary minus pay as you earn. So the database is here, double tap at tables, tap at this, double tap at salary minus, yeah, minus pay as you earn. It's already here, we have calculated it. I'm going to type IE capital letter the same way I typed it when I was calculating it, and then I delete the space from here, then I delete this expression and the space only. Then after that, now I should be getting net salary returned because I've got the salary minus the pay as you earn. I have just calculated in this same query. I'm going to click OK. Then I'm going to click run. You see, I'm now getting net salary calculated. Now my question is not about a query that is displaying payee and net salary. My question is about a report to display payee and net salary. Yeah, so that's it. My query I'm going to use is having payee, then net salary. And I'm going to just use this report to use the query to reflect a report. So I'm going to save this, save it as net, click OK, and then you close it, and then straight away go to create, go to report wizard, and use the query net, because it's the query having payee and net salary, and they want the two to be reflected in the report according to the question here, that the report should show net salary after the payee deduction. So I'm going to put all the records, all the fields this side, click next, click next. I'm not assigning anything, just click next. I like landscape, it is better. Click next and click finish, and then our report is going to be created, and it's displaying what we really want. It's displaying payee and net salary, though the columns need to be adjusted and the heading. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to just go to its design view. I'm going to go to the design view of the report, because even here in the question, they told me to use a design view to include my name and a personal number in the header of the report. So I'm going to right click at the report. I'm going to go to design view, and I'm going to first deal with my heading. I'm going to just increase the size of this, and then I type a report from Uganda Bureau of Statistics showing payee and net salary. Yeah, the heading is better and it is engaging. So it's better the reports, the forms in your access are engaging and they are really in line with the question you are doing. So I'm going to just give this a smaller size, like 18, and I want to put it in the center, and maybe a color. I always like red, and I can bold it. So that is it with my heading, and then I want to just put a header. I was required to put a header, so I'm going to just slightly reduce this, yeah, and then I can go back to I'm looking for, anyway, let me first open my report. I see what's there. Yeah, the heading is there. Then I'm going to do the columns and I put a header. Right click at it, go back to design, and I can reduce the column sizes from detail. Detail is enabling me reduce the column sizes. So for the ID, it's not that big. Name, I can reduce it to this. And then sex is, it's even the smallest. I can reduce it completely to this. Date of birth, I should just make sure that these boxes are in line with the page headers. Like sex should be in line with this. Then even date of birth, constituency, salary, yeah. Then page, I mean pay as you earn, and then net salary. Maybe the report can be shifted to this, and I just increase the net salary. I can first save Ctrl S and then I see how my report is shaping up. Yeah, it is shaping up, but since my net salary here, the words are not visible. Let me first go back to design view. So net salary, the issue is here. I can reduce on this and then even this net. Yeah, save Ctrl S, open the report and see whether things are shaping up. Yeah, seems things are shaping up and my report is displaying pay as you earn and net salary. I'm remaining with the header. Right click, select design view and then put your header. I can use a label. A label is here. I can draw my label around here. Then I put my header as Kasozi 500 if my name was required in the header section and a personal number. Ctrl S and open the report. So that is it with my report. As I got one of the last questions, the question was create a query displaying only female voters who earn a salary below 500,000. Rename it as less paid females. Before I got that query, since I didn't rename my report should be renamed as net pay. So I'm going to close it. I can't rename something that is open. Right click at it and select rename. Yeah, rename as net pay. Enter to confirm the renaming. So I'm going to straight away go to the query design and then I put all my fields there that I do what they want. Salary. So the query should display only female voters. Under sex I put F because I want female voters. Then who earn a salary less than 500,000. Less 500,000. Yeah. Run it. See whether there are females that earn less than that. They are there. There are three. Save it as less paid females. Ctrl S. Less paid females. Click OK and close the query. Part G, one of the last questions, it is create another query to display all male voters born before 1981. Born before 1981 and name it aged males. So all males that were born before 1981, are they there? Yeah, they are there, like Wafavi, like Mufulusi, like Wambede. I mean, no, Wambede is not part because it's 84. Anyway, back to create. query design, and then I put all my fields there. Double tap, double tap, double tap, double tap, double tap, double tap. So under sex we want male, we put M. Then under date of birth we put a criteria that can return people who are born before 1981. So I'm going to put less. Sorry, I'm going to put less 01 stroke 01 stroke 1981. So less than 0101 1981, and then I run. I see whether the males are there. Since I don't have any results, let me first go back to my table and confirm whether my dates are fine. So right click at the table, go to design view. Okay, click at date of birth, give it a date stop time, data type. Let me first close this. Let me close this. Yeah, let me first save it. Go back to the table, design view, this date, then date and time, data type. You save that, click OK, and close this. Go back to the query one, right click at it, go to its design view. We put this same criteria. Okay, less than hash 01 stroke 01 stroke 1981, then hash run. Yeah, so those are the males that were born before 1981. So that is it with the criteria that can run males that were born before 1981. There are many criterion that can run the same thing, apart from what I've just done in this question here. So seems that is it with access, because that was the last question that was in the access uh, Wakissha practical paper. It was about a query, and I've done a lot in this video from right from spreadsheet up to the access. I've just been doing. So I can just close this query. I can rename this. Close it. Right click at it. Give it a name. Rename. Rename as HD mails. Yeah. And then save your database in your folder and produce a printout. I can close it. I can produce a printout. I think I printed the table and the form. I can even print my queries. Open it, Control P, properties, landscape, print. Yeah, okay. So you do the sorry, you do the same criteria with all. Open, Control P, properties, and then landscape, you print. Okay, even this, open it, Control P, is it Control P, and then you print etc. All the objects you have used, it's what you do when you are printing. The same applies to report. Open it, Control P, and then you go to properties and select portrait, landscape, and then you produce a printout. Click OK to print. So yeah, that is it with the database question. It's that with the database question. It seems my data has slightly changed here. It is U001. U001, and this person was born on the what? according to his dates. According to my original, this person was born on the 19th November 19th 1980. Yeah, save and close everything. So whatever object you have done, you can print them. Whatever objects you have done in database, you can provide a printout to them. So that is it with my tutorial for now. It's what I wanted to share with you in this video. This period is for doing mock guides. So if you have any mock guide you want me to do, any mock body, or any question, any query, any comment about whatever I've been doing in my videos, the comment section is open and my numbers are also open to the questions. I welcome a lot of questions concerning whatever I do at my channel. So I can close the database and I can close everything at my computer. Even the paper I was doing, uh, I think this is my output Excel and database, and lastly my cover for the photo. It is Wakissha subsidiary ICT paper 2 spreadsheet and database approach for August 2025. So that is it with my tutorial for now. A good morning and bye bye.